Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the EA Sports WRC Creator Series Club. And it is the final round of Season 3. We have a title to fight for tonight as we head to Scandinavia for what will be a thrilling set of rallies. I am Gareth Allen, and tonight I'm joined alongside me by Joe. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited for tonight's action. We've got, obviously, John is not commentating this week. That's because he is one of the contenders in that title fight.
Right, okay. Apparently audio is glitching out. But it was all fine. It was just a trailer, thank goodness. Just a EA Sports trailer that I messed up. So John is indeed in a title fight. We've said to him, look, you cannot win the Creator Series broadcast after the fact of the broadcast. So sometimes we raid out to him after a broadcast. He does his run. He watches everyone for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then he slays them off camera and puts them all in this place. Tonight, he's going to be back on camera. Of course, he was on camera and on the broadcast last week for the commentators round, which he ended up placing first, not just in the creator standings, but overall. And that is very much where he is in the creator standing as well, and the overall race net standings. Isaac using 183 points. He's not just in the pound seat, he's nearly guaranteed that he will win this championship. 3 points is all he needs from this next set of 2 hours to achieve what he wants, which is a Creator Series championship here.
He doesn't even need to smash any of the stages out of the park. He just needs to make sure that he gets that power stage right at the end, and he's pretty much guaranteed that title. Vlembar, though, he'll be wanting to catch up. He'll be wanting to overtake, and he's not got any threat from behind. GJ over double the amount of points behind the top two. But yeah, I think Vlembar has let it slip the last few weeks. Eyes Amusing has just been really on top. And it's, the standings do not lie. He has been the best of the best. And tonight, if he was to seal the title, I don't think any of us would be particularly surprised.
Nope. Here is Punju on the left with a black screen, so I will tell him about that. Here is Eyes Amusing on the left with a black screen. That's not ideal for him. Let me just message him. But there is Vlembar on the right, the man who is currently second in the championship, and he's looking very dark. I hope that isn't frozen. It looks like it may have frozen that to me. So I'm just going to flick through some of these. Are these all broken? Let's just double check. Come on, Ancephalosis. He'd never do me wrong. Ancephalosis. They've all frozen. Okay, well, that's a very, very bad moment to have. What I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to quickly play that trailer again. Hopefully the audio will be fixed for you. And we should come back with some feeds here. Give me 1 second. let's go to here. I hope this is working, guys. There's always technical faults. Eyes and Musings was working, but it isn't now. So that's great. But we do have people's working again. So I'm just going to message Eyes and Musing. And yeah, we have these technical difficulties. Usually it's me behind the scenes, but obviously with Eyes and Musing on the broadcast, and TK having a lovely birthday somewhere. They're away, so we're juggling many eggs here.
Oh, I mean, we'll get through it, I'm sure. I mean, obviously, the fact that you're doing commentary and producer, a little bit more of a burden, but I'm sure once we get going, it'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Valley Sweden. What do you know about these snowy tracks that we're going to be racing on?
Mainly the fact that it's snowy, the fact that it's the only full winter course on the calendar. It presents an interesting challenge where it's much more icy than all the others. A lot of drivers will feel as though there's a lot of pressure on them, mainly because of the fact that it's just going to be slippy throughout. There's not really any chance for anything along the lines of a relax down a back dry straight, anywhere dusty. So yeah, pressure's on from minute one.
Absolutely, and while I just get my screen share over to the lovely Joe, so he can also see what's going on, and delight that we actually have our feeds that are back. Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's an interesting place to finally conclude season 3 of the championship, and yeah. Absolutely expect fireworks here. We have someone like Kamikaze who won here last time when we raced all the way back in round 2 of season 1. He is, do or die, the glass cannon of the WRC Creator Series. He won here back last time, but he's had a dreadful run over the last few races. Last week, again having another retirement, ended up on his roof. Slight moment with the game where he couldn't DNF. He couldn't reset the track, so he had to take a DNF. So yeah, Kamikaze could come out of here. Vlembar, he could be quite good on these surfaces. He likes the slidier surfaces more, with him being a controller player, to the tarmac surfaces that we saw at the Central European Rally beforehand. So yeah, absolutely every chance that it could be an outsider win here.
Oh, let's hope so, and let's especially hope that it's Vlembar, because that would light the championship up. But yeah, I mean, they are going to struggle for grip. That's going to be the name of the game, whether they can get grip going, or whether they're just going to have to slide their way through it. And with hopefully Vlembar getting going now, it looks like he's getting ready at least.
Yeah,
to get going.
I would expect that he is going to be getting going here, because I believe the time slots are now due to go at 50. That was up somewhere on my screen before the cataclysmic event that was all of our feeds going down. 53 is when we actually have our first runs out here, and the stage that we are on. Do you want to do the pronunciations, if I can get my word out, of the stages today? Do you want to have a go?
I mean, I'd love to. Right. Okay.
Boss phone.
If anybody who's from any of the nations near here, do not be offended. Yeah. I'm going to do my best.
Okay.
Is it Storyjangen, the first stage?
That's what I would say. That's what I would say, certainly. Storyjangen. Yeah, I have no Scandinavian background. TK was on the last time we broadcast this. He has family who lives out in Sweden, and I think even he was struggling. So we'll take that as it is. But yeah, Vlembar at the starting post at the moment. Punju yet to go out to the starting post, just chatting to a stream at the moment. Punju, I think he placed quite well last time, but it's a different series to when we first started it. It was round 2 completely of the Creator Series Championship. This is what, round 24 when you count them all up for the WRC nights that we run on Monday. But yeah, I mean, Punji placed quite well last time. I wonder if he could enjoy the different challenge that is snow tracks.
I mean, I'm sure they're all going to enjoy it in their own separate ways, whether it's going off and finding something funny about it, or just or just really because sometimes drivers can just turn it on in conditions like these where you'd really expect them to struggle, like maybe a driver who slips a lot more when it's a bit of a mix. When it's not so mixed, they feel as though they can't push it that hard, and then they take it a little bit easier. So then it might work out for them where they can feel they can be a little bit less aggressive. They can be a little bit more managed with their throttle inputs, with the steering. And then as Vlembar looks like he's ready to get going. The time is currently 7:53, and the lights are on. And Vlembar starts what could be a very, very important run for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just got to keep himself in the game straight away, using that banking. Looked a bit rough and ready, but you can use those bankings on those high-speed corners just to correct the car and put it on the right side. So yeah, absolutely, just using it to its advantage there. And if we go over, I think Eisermusing may have finally given us a feed. We could see Eisermusing, there we are. So we can see the two championship protagonists. Punju's just got going on the left-hand side. And he's just going to be avoiding those bits that we saw of Vlembar ride so far on there. That's a difference in driving style between the two.
Yeah, I mean, it's some drivers are going to take it a lot more aggressively. Some drivers are going to be a lot more, and they're going to try and stick to the road. And it remains to see which one's going to be the best option. For example, you could find that there's a particularly slippy bit of snow on the side. You could find that the road is a little bit too icy, so yeah, it's just about finding that middle ground.
Yeah, riding the centre of the track is always going to be the fastest bits, where the tyres they can dig in. They are, of course, a little bit thinner, the tyres on these snow rallies. They allow to work with the physics of the cars. Oh, bungees all over the snowbanks there. Don't think that was the fastest way through there, but he lives, he survives, he moves on, and that's the most important thing for him. But yeah, the tyres are just slightly thinner on these tracks. Actually, quite a lot thinner, but that allows the pressure of the car, the physics of it, to actually push and dig the tyres deeper into the ice, and the studs can get more mechanical grip that way. But keeping it on the centre island is absolutely really important here in Rally Sweden on this first stage.
Yeah, and so that's something that Punju seems to be struggling with at the moment, trying to keep it on that track. He's pretty much around every corner at the moment. He just seems to be dipping a tyre or two off the circuit. Vlembar at the moment looking a lot more managed, a lot more sharp, I think the word would be, is there. Round goes Punju, but it's round upside down. So it's certainly a way that we probably haven't seen the Rally Sweden track before. But yeah, we've got Eisermusing and Ancephallosis on your screens at the moment. All of them in Volkswagen Polos this evening.
Yeah, everyone's gone for the Volkswagen Polo except for one goated driver amongst the pack. So, we'll come to him in a bit. But Punju just mucking up before Colin's Crest there, which is, of course, named after Colin McRae. It's the stages from the old farmland area of the Rally Sweden. They don't run there anymore. They run a little bit more northern for the guarantee of snow. But even though the game says we're in that northern territory, it's actually those more southern territories that are indeed where we are running. So that's important, because it means that, in some way or form, we still have McRae's Crest, which is that moment that Punju's just had, and I'm sure we'll be able to watch Eisermusing come up to it soon. He's on the left-hand screen there, and Ancephallosis on the right, looking very warm, looking very snug in that gear. He's dressed for the occasion.
He certainly is. I mentioned that it was the winter round. Ancephallosis really channeling that with his clothing, and well, I think he's just trying to get acclimatized to the conditions. At the moment, sliding a little bit off, so maybe it's not working as well as he would like, but I'm sure later on we'll see.
Yeah, we just saw Isa take McRae's Crest, a lot of air there, and he handled that really, really nicely, I must say. It's going to be fascinating to see what times he can get over the stage here. Here comes Ancephallosis to that McRae's Crest. How can he handle it? How does he take the landing? There we are, chucks it down. That was nice from himself. It's always good to get a lot of air and be able to land it well, but a little bit too steamy into the right-hander after that section, and just off the tracks momentarily, and there we are, hitting a snowbank too heavily as well. A little bit unsettled here is Antsopoulos in his first part of this stage.
Yeah, he's just... Well, he's struggling to find where that grip is, which is, it's unsurprising. There's barely any grip there, but there will be, for some of the drivers, just a little bit of grip. It's just about finding it, and he's just warming himself up now. He's just getting ready as we've got Jam and Kamikaze, their first appearances on the broadcast for this evening. Just heading through now, and just, yeah, trying to get acclimatized, as all the drivers are, to the track.
Yeah, the Jam did nice over McRae's crest. Kamikaze, he is all over the place. Oh, he's gone too early again, and he's gone flipping out of control. Kamikaze, it's just not going well for him. He just can't get his head in the game. A little shake of the head. He knows that he's frustrated with himself there, because that's time lost. Now he's still going in the right direction. He's not had to retire from the session. It's not as bad as stage 1 last week in the commentators round. But Kamikaze on home turf almost for him, being a Norwegian. He's over in Sweden. He understands these races. He likes it. He's fast, and he just can't get that consistency down, and it's costing him big.
And that's why you could see he was a little bit annoyed. Well, more than a little bit annoyed. When he went over, cursing himself out because of the fact that he will know these conditions so well. He knows how to drive here pretty much. Almost, I can imagine this might have been one of those races where he can realistically see himself seeing it live. And I think as he rides over a couple of crests, not getting the momentum that he would have wanted going over McRae. I think that's McRae's crest.
That is McRae's crest, absolutely.
There we go. Not getting the momentum he would have wanted, so not getting the airtime he would have wanted. I'm sure it's quite satisfying going over there, to be honest. Just feeling nothing under you.
Yeah, sometimes it's you're in the right flow when you're getting that big air, but sometimes it's more quicker to go slow over the bumps because you're less likely to make a mistake. But just a little bit of a moment beforehand really cost him that speed through that section. He's going to be coming up towards the flying finish now. If we take him full screen, I've gone to exactly the wrong person, but here we are as he comes towards the final right-hander here. He'll go through the stop point control, and let's see what he can do. A 2:41.639, so I think he knows he can be a bit faster than that.
And he's got stages to catch up. He's got quite a few stages actually to catch up, 12 of them to be exact, over the course of the next 2 odd hours. So in those 2 odd hours, there will be times where he can make that time up. It's not like he had to recover, because he pretty much got that straight back on the road, and so he won't be too or he shouldn't be too disappointed with it anyway. I'm sure he will be, but he shouldn't be too disappointed because there will be opportunities to climb over a driver like Punju, who's had a massive off-road moment there, doing quite well to keep that relatively near the track, within the reset to track limit, and then he's just gotten back going again, pretty much like nothing happened.
Yeah, a little bit of a hand in the air moment, but yeah, interesting there. He just took way too much speed into that slower corner, just couldn't scrub off the speed like you would want. He's coming towards the end of stage 2. This one is Sun. That's a pretty easy one. I'm taking that one as goes over the flying finish, 2:44. And he'll throw it into the marshals for good measure. So that's the first time we see on this stage. How is Eisemusing doing? He's currently heading through it. Oh my god, the speed difference, the feel of difference with that point of view, that widescreen angle is insane. And he's coming up. I think he's just gone past that section there, which Punju had his moment at. So we should be able to see very soon how he's doing. Stop point control over the line. That's about 10 or so seconds quicker than Punju. So Eisemusing on the pace there.
I think that was 16 in the end, because I'm pretty sure Punju put in a 2:44. But yeah, that's you talk about how tight the angle is. That's what I noticed as soon as he's in 7th, Flembar in 4th. So the 2 title contenders, they are really setting the pace.
Yeah, a few people ahead of them. The VBR boys, they always turn up to these. But do you know what? Eyes Amusing, he hasn't muted yet, but Vlembar out there on the stage. Vlembar is around, so let's get a little interview in with Vlembar, because you've done the first 2 stages now, 4th overall on that second stage, ahead of Eyes Amusing your championship battle. How's it going early doors here?
So far pretty good. Both stages went relatively smoothly. Only one minor mistake at the end of the second one. So yeah, if I can keep this momentum, should look good for the end. But obviously depends on how Isa is doing. So it's gonna be a wait till the end, basically.
Joe?
Well, we can break the news to you. Actually, you so far you have gone a little bit quicker than him. You're 4th overall. He finds himself in 7th. So you're not well. You're pretty much well matched. How much are you looking at the times, looking at the comparisons at this point? And is that going to be something that you consider more later on?
Realistically, it's gonna come down to the power stage most likely in any way, whatever happens. Got a pretty big gap, and if I'm not wrong, he only needs 3 points to win due to better results overall. So he just has to get third in the power stage and could have a nightmare of a first 11 stages and would still win. So yeah, it's probably, like I said, gonna come down to the end, and yeah, that's what I'm aiming for. Just drive smoothly till there and avoid any mistakes.
Would you be interested in us jinxing him at all in the broadcast? He's done it to you a fair number of times. You remember that?
To be fair, he's got the talent for it. So nah, I just hope everybody gets through smoothly without any bigger incidents.
That's very gracious of you. I'd be getting out the VD dolls if I was in your
really thrilled
position.
to see everybody finishes, because I know there's some people who are good on snow. So I'm really excited to see where all the creators are going to end up.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Valenbar. Best of luck with the rest of your stages. I'm sure we'll catch up with you a little later on. But we're going to go grab in Isa Amusing for a quick interview here. Isa, so far so good on the first opening couple of stages. A little bit behind Vlembar, but is it all to plan so far for yourself?
Not to plan at all. The car feels completely different to the little bit of practice that I did, so I'm trying to figure out what's gone on with the setup, or if there's something that I changed without noticing. I got huge amounts of understeer, so I'm turning into the corners and the car's just going straight, effectively. So I've got to drive very aggressive, sort of out of my comfort zone. But you know, if in doubt, go flat out, and I think that's what I'm going to have to do on this rally, because in Sweden, the more cautiously you drive, the more problems you have, basically.
So the championship's not coming into your mindset at all. Is it just literally just throw the car, throw the car and see what happens?
Well, I've been in these kinds of situations before. I tend to think, from prior experience, the more you think about it, the more your mind plays tricks on you and makes you second guess what you're doing, and then it puts you into all kinds of trouble. So I just try and, as soon as you get to that start line, you put your mind it to the back of your mind and just go for it and go flat out. And if something bad happens, it was going to happen anyway, basically.
Absolutely. Keep that pest out of your mind. Well, Isa, we will let you head off onto your stages. You're about to start your next stage, and hoping for a great leap forward tonight.
Yes, indeed. 4 pests, I can say: Pirelli tires, turbochargers, snowbanks, and indeed fences and poles that you can't see in the ground. There you go.
Thank you, brilliant, Isa. We will see how he does on the rest of the stages. But yeah, well, to be honest, we can go over now and we could compare Vlembar and Isa Amusing here. Actually, let's just go on Vlembar, because Isa Amusing is showing us his Discord there. Let's not leak anything confidential on his side. But Vlembar out there. Now look at the stages on the left. These are 2 long stages we've got here. And we didn't manage to ask about tyre compound choices, but rest assured they're taking the hards on these stages.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they took the hards. I'd be surprised if they did the opposite, to be honest, because they're just such long stages that they're just going to have to keep it keep the concentration up, which isn't always necessarily that easy.
Yep, yeah, these long stages. We are on stage 3, and that is Hoffinskog. I've done enough flat pack furniture to say that one. That's absolutely case. Is that bad? Is that a bad thing to say? Maybe. Let's just move on. But yeah, Punji now tackling what is a long stage, and really this one is all about just keeping your head in the game. I think this was the stage where I once did 21 flips in one barrel roll sequence. I'd sent a Peugeot 2A6 onto the final moments of its life. That's certainly one thing to say. But yeah, we saw some super impressive times from here from Kamikaze previously. I think the last time we ran these stages, we ran the 97 to 2011 variant of the WRC cars. These are a little bit more modern, 17 to 21. Only the Polos and the Ford Fiestas in this class. And it's GJ who is actually the man who's in the Ford Fiesta. Everyone else opting for the Polo, the car that never was really. I didn't ever really get used in competition because it was a casualty of the Dieselgate scandal.
Yeah, I mean, it's, well, it doesn't add for much variety. It does mean though that there's a lot more of a scope on GJ, just to see what he can bring out in that car, because they've all gone for the same one. There was more options. They've all opted for the Volkswagen. So it's interesting as well that it covers a lot of different driving styles, because all of these drivers have different driving styles. It's just sometimes different cars complement different driving styles. So it is actually very interesting to see that they've all gone for the same one.
Yeah, I think that's just going for the meta. I think people really do enjoy this Polo. I think that's truth be told. It maybe is the quicker one of the Fiesta and the Polo, but I think if you did a poll of all the cars in the game and all the cars that people would want to drive, I think the Polo would probably come out on top of it. It is definitely a fan favourite. And yeah, certainly a big fan is PJ, of course, from the EA side. He always talks highly of this car back in round 1 when we ran it. So season 1, I should say. So yeah, absolutely. But punch you out there at the moment. We should have a lot of our drivers actually out there attacking this stage. I believe IRC, JBH, one of them, and GJ is one of them. But for some reason, I still think GJ's feed is not correct. So let's just the man in the Ford Fiesta may not get a shout in this broadcast because he's his feed isn't updating for us. We've had some catastrophic packet loss before this, but here's Jam on God and IRC JPH. I should just call him JPH. That is his actual name. IRC is some community tag, but you know what? From now on, I'll just call him IRC 99, and he can't be upset with that.
I mean, it's close enough. We haven't got any other IRC drivers in the broadcast, so yeah, there we go. Oh, you also we need to shorten it to Jam. We had this conversation pre-broadcast about the fact that you knew you were going to call him that at some point, whether it was intentional or not that you called him that. I'm sure that
it's his name. He's Mr. On God. Do you know what I mean? When he receives any correspondence through the mail, it will be like Master on God that will come through it. You have another credit card bill to pay that I've run up in his name. But this is 100%. But there we are. Jam just riding those inner snowbanks. A little hard, I would say, but it hasn't took off too much speed, but way too much speed into that hairpin. And that has slowed him down significantly out of there. It just costs you a little bit of time, and he starts to stack up. But a long way to go.
And that's the difficulty with this stage, because there is snowbanks lining both sides of pretty much all of the stage, which means that it can offer an advantage. They can increase your speed. They can also decrease your speed significantly, as Jam is just finding out heading off the road. There's not much of a distinguish, like visually, between the snowbanks and the actual track itself at this point because of how snowy they find the conditions are. So I think that's what Jam is just trying to feel out at the moment.
Yeah, those reference points are certainly really hard to pull by because it's just a field of white. I know Sebastian Loeb, of course, multi-time WRC champion. I think the joint most WRC wins in history. He always found these snowy stages difficult, where you'd see drivers wear a different style of spectacle with a little yellow tint to help be able to pick out references on the horizon. But Jam doing okay. I mean, he hasn't caused his car any ridiculous damage, and that's certainly one thing that would be hard to redeem from. Dirk Chocolate in chat saying he'd love to be riding some snowbanks. We would love you to be riding some snowbanks. Hopefully be able to get you back in a car for Season 4 of the Creator Series EA WRC event. It's been very, very exciting to do 3 seasons of this, and with the new expansion coming out just next month, early next month, 8th of October, I believe. With new stages, new cars, new liveries. It's going to be a super exciting time for the championship.
Oh, it definitely is. And it also allows the opportunity for some drivers who may not be the quickest in the generations of cars that we've got available to us to maybe find their way up, to maybe become one of the front runners, because everyone will be starting fresh. They are new cars that we have available to us. They're new. I was going to call them tracks. What's the official name?
Valleys, stages, anything like that. That's fine. You could call them tracks. I'm sure the WRC community will forgive you eventually.
I'm sure they used to TK calling them tracks anyway. But...
Absolutely. Look at Anzavalosis. He's so wrapped up warm. He looks like he's been to the to Draenor Village and asked Django for all of those free holiday items in RuneScape. But he's absolutely wrapped up warm. He's got some serious fashionscape going on right now. And I hope it aids him in his driving this week.
Well, he's certainly not going to be suffering from frostbite or anything like that as he drives around this circuit. He might have the windows open, though, which wouldn't be suggested. He might get a couple of tree branches through there. But at the moment, he's wrapped up. He's ready. It's interesting how that wouldn't affect you as much as it would in Formula cars. And he's just rolled. How's he managed to recover that?
It's because you said he was wrapped up. I think he's going the wrong way here, is he? Is he going the wrong way here? No, he's going the right way. I've completely lost my sense of direction. And there we are, forwards onto jumping. There we are, the fast part of the section of this stage, this middle part of this stage. We will be running, I think, the reverse of this stage next. For the next rally, we'll be able to see that in just a few moments' time. But you said he was wrapped up and ready, and it turns out he was wrapped up and ready to roll.
Well, he's almost wrapped his car around a tree or something along those lines. But no, he's made it out okay. That was actually quite a good recovery where he's just flipped himself over. But yeah, he's not lost as much time as I'd imagine Jam's losing over these snowbanks, as he's not using them to his advantage as much as he could be doing at the moment. We've got quite a few stages to go, quite a few stages to get used to these snowbanks. Where this is where the snowbanks are quite prominent, because there's snowbanks, there's undulation. It's probably one of the most difficult parts one of the most difficult stages because of the fact that there's so much. Well, there we go. There's a demonstration of the undulation for you, but it's probably one of the most difficult ones just because you have to keep your concentration. One mistake could cost this run, which with how high quality the drivers are throughout, it could cost you a few positions, not only in the overall standings, but also in the broadcast standings.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jam, just going down through that. Do you know what? I've just figured out, surely, that some of these must be coming towards the end of it. Yeah, certainly they are. I've just looked at the stages and the sectors and where they are. Vlembar, a 9:26 on that stage. That is very, very impressive. Eyes amusing. I wonder if he's been able to get out there and complete his stages. No, he's just right near the end. Punch you over the side there. I think he's pretty happy with that time that he set. Can't quite see it from where we are at the moment, but I think he's pretty happy with that. 9:26, what Vlembar set. He set a 10-minute 1, and indeed it's a 9:24 for Eyes Amusing. So 2 seconds clear of Vlembar there. The championship leaders splitting hairs over 21 kilometers.
And they're demonstrating why they're the championship leaders and why they're the championship leaders by a distance, because these times are absolutely incredible. I thought Vlembar being 3rd overall was impressive. And then Isamusin comes in and slams in a 2nd overall. So we could be seeing one of them take the overall victory. We'll have to wait and see later on. But yeah, those two really, really demonstrating their ability so far in this rally. These two yet to make their mark as much. Jam's just had a couple of problems with the undulation, and Ancephallosis as well. He's caused himself a bit of undulation, a bit of shaking, because he went over and round in this same stage. He's getting used to it though. The sharpness has come back in. I've cursed him already. That's a good start, isn't it? Because he's just gone off the road. But I feel like that could be a theme for myself tonight. Commentator's curse has been pretty prevalent for me recently, so I shall refrain from having any opinions on anyone's runs. But Kamikaze slotting in in 3rd. Is that?
I think first. I think he's took the overall time there. That's a very, very nice time from him. There we are.
Really fast.
XR Kamikaze right at the top there, and I can't see because for whatever reason it's coming on. His text is coming through in a very, very small pixel count here, but I know he's first, and I certainly know it isn't all zeros, but it's a very, very fast time, whatever it is. Maybe we'll be to snipe it from someone else's feed, and we're looking Ancephallosis here. He's down in 50th, I think he's done. If he scrolls all the way to the top, do us a favour, Andrew. There he's seen Punja in 38th. Keep going. Keep going. And there we are. I think he's going to do us a solid here, Ancephallosis. He's going to go to top. Ambient Mike in 11th. 5th is Vlembar. Isamusin 3rd. Kamikaze. And 9:11 on that stage. That's a huge time. That was full send on that rally.
That would have been absolutely full send, because what was that? That was that 7 seconds ahead of the driver in 2nd, and then 12 ahead of Isa in 3rd. So that's just blown out of the water pretty much everyone else who's even competed in this rally, whether it's on broadcast or not.
Nice, man.
It's just, I mean, we said that he's probably used to it. We said that he's definitely used to the conditions, and he's really thrown in a time there, thrown in a demonstration of what he can do.
Yep, crushing the morale is what I'd like to call that. Fantastic from him, and Jam on God. JPH. There, I got one of the names right. I'm going to stand back here. If you put ONG in your name, prepare for me to call you On God every single time. Anyway, towards the end, they both go. They're in similar segments. We know what time that JPH is on, the 9:55 so far, but very, very close over the finish, sliding it through 10:33, so about 30 seconds slower from Jam on JPH, but JPH putting in a time that I think has just pipped Punji to the post there on stage 3 here, Hoffinsburg. And yeah, there we are, just over 1,000th over the 10-minute mark there. That's a perfectly symmetrical score there.
Oh, that's fair. That's very satisfying. I'm glad he's punched that in, and that's going to be 36th overall, which generally we'd be praising. Tonight, that's not enough, really.
I wouldn't be able to get within 2 minutes of that. So that is a very, very nice time there from JPH, but I believe now they've got to go and do it all again, but in the opposite direction.
Well, yeah, and that's going to throw a few curveballs at the drivers, because they'll vaguely recognise it, but at the same time they won't have 100% knowledge of what's going on. Yeah, these drivers heading through now. Isa, he just looks so set in what he's doing, despite the fact that he could barely see out of his front window. Yeah, he's so quick through. Go on. I'll give you this.
You can have that one. Asnes. I don't know what I put that accent on. Asnes? I don't know what that ace is.
Something like that.
Someone in chat phonetically tell me what that A does, because I'm hoping it changes the S slightly, so it's easier to pronounce. I was so hoping you just throw yourself into that one, Joe, without thinking about it.
Well, I started to, and then I saw the accent above the A, and I decided against it. I decided to throw it over to you for that one, but
it could be like as nice. We don't know. We don't know. But eyes of music here. He's concentrating, very, very concentrating, sitting there in his rig. Just a little bit of chatting with the Twitch chat. Incredible how he can keep on pace and chat to him as he just clips that advertising board a little bit more. But just such a smooth driving style. Punju on the left-hand side, equally smooth at times, but sometimes just feeling the slide a little bit too much. And a bit of tip from our ambient Mike, who completed his run earlier on this week. He was saying it's all about, sometimes better sacrificing that corner entry and gaming massively on the exit. So, we've had someone in chat. I think the A is like a ass oa, so Osnes. That's apparently how you say it. Oisnes. Osnes. So,
I don't think I could have got that, even if I'd have guessed it quite.
I prefer as nice, to be honest, but Osnes. He's put Osnes, but I may still be saying that wrong. So who knows? He's absolutely doomed. But there we are. Punji just coming towards the middle part, where it gets a little bit faster. Certainly, this long stage, 3:15 as he goes through that split. I believe. That Eyes of Music is already way past that split, almost hitting the next split at the moment, which is going to be around a 3:40 and 3:42, I believe that was, as he goes over that split. No, 3:45, there we are, as he head over that split. So that's good. Let's see how Vlembar is doing, his title rival. Both of them in similar sectors here, and remember that was a 3:45 there for Eyes of Music, 3:50 as they go through that sector gate there. So 5 seconds off the pace already is Vlembar on his title rival.
Yeah, and well, these two, I mentioned it before. I'll mention it again, and I'll probably mention it about 10 times before we end the broadcast. Just these two are demonstrating why they're contending up there. These two are demonstrating why they've got double the amount of points of everyone else. Just because of how ridiculously good they look and how ridiculously easy they make it look. Vlembar almost looking bored there, as he heads
we'll put us
through.
On if he's bored, we'll put us on. We're not bored.
I know. You'll just get me staring at them like that, just really somehow confused as how they're able to do this, because I know that I'd be nowhere near them. But yeah, it's quality.
Yeah, what I find absolutely wild is Vlembar is one of these controller players who just has such pace. I think he may be the only controller player in our ranks at the moment on the broadcast, and he's just so consistent and quick, and he uses that tool to his absolute skill. And there we are, just riding his snowbanks a little bit, but I don't think that slowed him down too much through there, actually, because it just guided him through the corner. But yeah, a very fast part of this stage here, stage 4 that we're on, Uznes, and yeah, just riding this nicely. A series of jumps coming up, just make sure the car's pointing in a direction on the landing each time. Absolute commitment. Boredom as he lands, as you say, as he goes through one of the scariest moments. I'd be hand on heart, but he knows this. He knows if you put the car up like that, it's going to come down like this, and I'll be able to soldier on.
Cars are not supposed to be put in places like Vlembar is putting them in at the moment, and in angles and positions that they're being put in. But it's just absolutely incredible, and it's the fact that, and I know because I have tried these sorts of I've tried these sorts of rallies before. I've tried these sorts of specific areas of these rallies before. I forget to shift gears, so it's the fact that they're able to shift gears to be prepared for the next obstacle that's coming in their way. The fact that they're even able to use those the sides of the track to their advantage, it's just something that, well, there's a reason I'm sat here talking about them and not sat there in the cars.
Absolutely. So Ancephalosis and Jam on God, they're out there at the moment. Kamikaze, do you know what? We should definitely give a little bit of a watch to Kamikaze, because he was so quick on that initial leg. Now we're on the return leg. What was it, a 9:11 previously? And I said right at the start of that stage, he can give us quick times on these long stages, and I think this is his bread and butter. Full send. He knows these roads like the back of his hand. He knows the hiccups. He knows how to find extra time, sticking a wheel in this gully, not using that gully, and he's just absolutely committed here. So quick as he's going through there.
It's beautiful to watch when a rally car is handled just right, and that's exactly what Kamikaze's being able to do at the moment. That mistake in stage 1 will have fired him up to go even quicker than he could do to take, well, it doesn't feel as though he's taking any risks at the moment, even though he evidently is, if he's going that quickly. But it doesn't look at all like he's struggling. It doesn't look as though he's pushing the car all that much. But then he'll come to the end of it and he'll be up there he'll be up there with all the drivers. With the VBR guys, they're always up there. Slight minor run off the track, slightly brushing the wall there. He opened his mouth because I think he was quite surprised in the first place that he's even able to make that mistake. It certainly didn't seem as though he would be able to, but yeah, just wow.
He would have lost a few seconds there, certainly, because it properly slowed him down that snowbank. It really decelerated him, and he's lucky it didn't spear him off into the forest, because that could be a big damage. He does have a service coming up, but he knew, he shook his shirt, he understood how close he was to the limit there, pushing slightly over it, but not braking. Ben don't brake in those situations, and he just about managed to survive it. But we do know that the likes of Vlembar and Eisenmusing, they're coming towards the end of their runs on this long 4th stage here, and Vlembar just kissing at those snowbanks nicely. And carrying that momentum too. Eisenmusing also looking consistent, I believe, at 8:58 as he went through the final split gate. Certainly, we're going to have Vlembar come to that soon as well. So 8:58 to beat. He's already behind him on the road, a little bit shaky through there, but it's a 9:02, so he has found a bit of time back. It was 5 seconds at an earlier split that separated them. So Vlembar has just crawled back about a second's worth of time. He won't be able to crawl back 4 seconds unless Eisenmusing has a spectacular moment. Vlembar doing acrobats really through there, but really crazy stuff. And he will be finishing behind him. There we are. Eisenmusing's come to the line. We have a time from him. And I think he's going to be happy with that. A 9:32 from himself, and that's a very decent time. Can Vlembar do anything to match that one? A 9:40, so that slow down there, it actually cost him 8 seconds through that final sector.
Yeah, that's where the little mistakes come in at the end of the longest stage. I talked about it being a long stage earlier, and those little mistakes can add up. And that little mistake there cost him, 8 seconds. That's a huge amount of time, considering where he is on the standings. And I think he will be thoroughly disappointed by that, even though it was such a minor mistake. That will sit in his mind. Maybe he'll have a comeback like Kamikaze, where he's just flying at the moment, just completely in tune with the car as he heads through the stage, heads towards the end of the stage. And we'll see what sort of time he's putting up in comparison to the 2 championship contenders. 9:32 was what Isa put up, and then Vlembar went in with a 9:40. Kamikaze now coming up to the end with a 9:29. So he's the quickest of these 3 drivers. It remains to be seen whether he's the quickest overall, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's not too far off.
Let's get him straight in for an interview, because those are two sensational times. Sorry, Kamikaze, I know you're mid-conversation. Coming off the back of 2 masterful stages. It was a 9:11, was it, on the opening leg there, which is about a second off world record pace. You did a 9:29 on return leg. World record pace is about a 9:33. You're built different on these long snow stages, aren't you?
Yeah, and I run with a little bit of fear because my on shakedown my wheel disconnect, and stage 1 my wheel disconnect. I lost 13.5 seconds, so I run with a little bit of fear, but yeah, I like snow. Yeah, let's build up some pace.
Well, you've put in a time there that, well, it's over 3 seconds over second place overall. So that's just that's the sort of time that you're able to put in with the disconnects that you had early on. Has that motivated you to go to push any harder?
No, actually not. But I should do. On this surface and this country, it's very easy to get a little bit eager. So you need to just go with your normal pace and believe in the car. And if you try to overpush the car, you just get understeer or oversteer, and you will run some flat tires. So just take care of the tires and run normally what I can do. So should be good enough.
You had a little bit of a wobble on, I can't remember if it was stage 1 or stage 2. Just lost a little bit of time through it. But do you feel like you've gained all that time back with those impressive runs through 3 and 4?
Yeah, I hope so. The massive loss was on stage 1. I lost 14 seconds to the top guys. So, yeah. So we should start easy and build up some speed and get some more confidence, and we should be good.
Well, impressive stuff, Kamikaze. I'm sure we'll catch up with you later on in the broadcast, but good luck with the rest of it. And yeah, just sounding confident, wasn't he?
He's got reason to be confident. I mean, 3.4 seconds is the gap between himself and second place. Isa is only just in third place, just behind second. Not sure.
I think he was watching Punchy do a really massive, crazy spin. That's going to be a clip that's going to be posted in the Discord. WRC, !WRC in chat on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, head over to Twitch. It's probably getting some terms of service that. But yeah, come into our Discord. I'm sure that will get posted in our stream clips out there. But yeah, we do have a couple of people just coming towards the end of the stages. IRC JPH being one of them. I was hoping to catch where he got on the leaderboard, but I don't think we caught it quite there. But I tell you what, let's pull in. Actually, let's not pull in JPH yet, because he should have to change his headphones over in just a second. But once we see in the bottom left-hand corner that he's changed his headphones open and he's opened himself up for interviews, we'll pull him in and ask how he's finding these stages, because yeah, fascinating stuff so far. The championship battle, but also every point is what people are fighting for out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they've all given up because they're not the ones in contention for the championship fight. They're still going to be, trying as hard as they can to just demonstrate why they deserve to be on the broadcast. Look at that car's taken a bit of a beating.
Yeah.
But
should we get him in and ask why that car has took a bit of a beating out there? It's looking a little bit worse for wear, isn't it, JPH?
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite as bad as it might look. I mean, it was just a slight. I don't know if I didn't hear the "don't cut" or not, but there was a bit of a signpost in the line of my path. So, unfortunately, the car had to eat that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, well, is that a consequence of you pushing maybe too hard? We just spoke to we just spoke to the man on top of the leaderboard, Kamikaze, at the moment, who just talked about the fact that you can quite easily push yourself too hard here. Is that what it's a consequence of?
Normally I'd say yes, but on this occasion, no. It's just a case of it was just a misjudgment of line. Not really. I'm not really pushing too hard because I'm not. This is a weak event for me, and the car is not feeling great at the moment. It's very inconsistent. So my main aim going into this was basically just try and finish every stage and let everyone else make the mistakes. But it's just a small misjudgment error on my part.
What are the specific characteristics that are making this not a strong stage and rally for you?
Snow, basically. I mean, I've even on Dirt
stuff.
Rally 2. Yeah, I mean, even on Dirt Rally 2, I was never quick on the snow. It's just even though it looks like I'm quite quick, it's out of the 3 terrains, I'm definitely the worst on snow. And not to mention, half the time when it's sunny, you can't see anything, let alone trying to work out where the road is. So, yeah, it's just one of those events where I know it's not very strong for me, so I just have to take it as it comes, and as I hope everyone else makes mistakes, basically.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, JPH. Good luck on the rest of it, and maybe you can pick up some points with the errors of others.
Brilliant. Thank you, chaps.
Yeah, so not that confident. That's why his car was a little bit, not straight. A bit bent around a tree and what was it, a lamppost or a signpost that he was saying. But there we are, looking all good. The service has done its wonders, and the mechanics have come out, given that a good polish, and suddenly it's as good as new.
Well, I mean, someone's going to have to break the news to him at some point that he's got 8 more stages to go. But yeah, I think to be fair, I thought that some of it was a little bit of some of the damage was a little bit of livery in my eyes. But yeah, there we go. It's nice and ready to get going again for his next run, which is going to be. I think I'll take the brunt for the name of the stage of this time. Big Brenner.
Big Brenner. That sounds perfect to me. I tell you what, let's grab GJ in for a very quick interview. He's due to go. Oh, he's just muted up. He's just muted up. Let's throw him back. He's clearly muted up for a reason. So we aren't going to grab him for a little interview there. But I was going to ask him to reset his stream as well. But there we are. That's the Ford that GJ is driving at the moment from before the lobby when it's just reset, which isn't ideal. But yes, we can go on, and I believe Punju has started this stage. Not the shortest stage on the calendar, but it's also certainly not the longest.
Yeah, I mean, the last one's the longest, I'm pretty sure.
Yes,
but
they are the king stages, as Punju goes for a little excursion now. I think we saw that from Jam earlier on in that same spot, but of course on Super Stage 3. So I should say Special Stage 3, I think it is. But just that left-hand corner, cars taking too much speed into it and scrubbing it off by having to use these snowbanks.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to use the snowbanks if they want to put in a decent time, because it's helping them with the turning, it's helping them it's helping them with the rotation of the car essentially. If they can get it right, if they get it wrong, just like there, it's certainly not helping them with the rotation or keeping it straight either way. It's just, well, Punji got a face full of ice, I think, there. But Iza's going to show us how to do it properly, isn't he? As he goes over and through the trees. It's a beautiful rally when you've got the graphics up high as Isa has there, and you can just see the sun breaking through the trees, and so you've got a beautiful backdrop for some beautiful driving.
Yeah, and giving a lot more clarity and differentiation between the landscape and the road, so that would probably help out. There's probably, let's call it pay to win with being able to run your graphics in this mode. But yeah, absolutely resplendent parts of this game. The details that are in this game, absolutely love it. Just if you park up on any stage, have a look around you. The craftsmanship that has gone into each of these stages is wonderful, and Isa Musing out there at the moment. He's pushing onwards, just looking to keep it consistent. He knows one hand on the championship, but he's been in these situations before. He's been, in good positions before to win esports championships going back 2021, 2022, and both times he was a runner-up. So Isa Musing just he's wanting to get this one, and I think the esports championship would have meant a lot more to him, but a win is a win, and Isa Musing just wanting to not live up to his bottle job name.
He'll be wanting to prove particularly you, Gareth, wrong today, I think. Yeah. Will be the aim of the game, and he's not driving like somebody in championship contention at the moment. He's just driving as like somebody you'd see on a YouTube demonstration of how to drive the rally at the moment, and I think that's really coming across in the way that he's driving. Punju less so, as he's trying to find the track again after slipping over a few of the snowbanks. Vlembar just piercing the gap between them. So that's the tiny little mistakes that you can't afford to make, especially when you're on broadcast, because you're under a lot of, well, you've got a lot of eyes on you as Vlembar comes to the end of the stage. 4 minutes 57. We will see if that is a good time as more drivers come across the line. Punju, not going to be in that 4 minutes. It just goes above. It's a decent time. It goes in 9th place. Vlembar is at the moment on stage 5. We'll wait to see if Isa can do any better as he comes up to the line. 4 minutes 56.262. That will put him in 5th place, not Vlembar down to 10th. So these times that they're putting in are some of the best of anybody.
Yep, he knows, you don't need to do anything spectacular, really. You just need to have a good moment here, a good moment there, chip away, and get yourself into a good position towards those final stages. It is a long one tonight. We do have 12 stages. We have had the biggest stages out of the way and done. Someone who isn't subscribing to that methodology at the moment is Kamikaze. Thomas just throwing it into every single corner. He's not here for any kind of championship result. He's here for the stage result, and he is just super quick. I think that was a 4:17 as he goes through the final split. What was it? A 56? Was it? Was it a 36? Sorry, for Punju. I can't quite remember at this time, but I think it was a 46, wasn't it, or something along those lines. But yeah, so certainly Kamikaze just throwing it into every single corner and looking to take chunks out of it. I think it was 56 that Punju did, in fact, and that's 49 for Kamikaze, so that's another decent stage there.
Yeah, I mean, it's he's just keeping it up. He's just showing how to drive a rally car to those who are to those who are new, to those who aren't new to the game, as he slots in a time. I think that's 1st place again. There's 2 Norwegian flags on there, which is slightly confusing, but I think the top one says Kamikaze there. So he's showing everybody who's entered how to drive this car, how to drive in these conditions, and how to drive on this rally.
Absolutely. Jam now, jamming it up. He's coming towards the end. Let's see what time he gets as he goes over the flying finish and past the red marker boards. That's 5 minutes 37 for him. So a little bit off the pace. He's the kind of person looking for top 100s in stages as he comes in, and yeah, that I wouldn't put that in the top 100 polos on the road at the moment. That's a bit battered and bruised.
No, I mean, well, I think that's just been the case for Jam throughout. I think the polo has taken a bit of a beating. I think they're going to have to slap a reduced sticker on it at the second-hand car dealership. But yeah, so I don't think he'll be happy with that run. Well, I'm sure these two, especially Isa, will be happy with their run, and JPH is going to look to try to appease himself with his run as he continues through in 6th gear. Just it's one of those where, even though you're not going the quickest that this car can possibly go, you want to stay in the higher gears, just because the grip, the track isn't going to help you at all with the grip, so you're just going to have to use the gearbox to try and help you there.
Yeah, the man who is Mr. Whippy 99 Flake should enjoy the cold conditions, but feels like he's melting a little bit here. And he said he didn't actually like it in the interview we just had with him. He said it wasn't characteristically something that he excels in. 5 minute 10, still a very decent time, but he's looking for others to make mistakes today to be in with a top place on our Creator Series standings, on our RaceNet standings as well. You know, if you aren't brilliant at it and you come 31st on a stage, I think you're doing all right, really.
I think it's impressive in the first place that you'd even be able to even say that you're not the best at it, and then you come in with a time like that. So yeah, it's impressive. Looking at Punju here, who's starting. Is this the next one? Is this right?
This is stage 6.
Which is called?
We know how to say this now. We know how to say that. It's like a oa. So it's like Ozulia. Azali?
Uslia.
Uslia. Let's say it's Uslia. It sounds like it sounds like a kind of rival, maybe Audi brand of muesli. So we're going to go with Uslia. And Punju is going to go through this left-hander now and just chuck it in. Just dip that front left tyre into that snow bank, the gully just on the side of it, just to guide it through. And a few jumps here and there on this stage. And yeah, doing okay so far.
Those jumps will be quite scary because especially that one as well. It was a corner. So not only trying to keep the car under control, trying to keep the angles right, you're also trying to turn for the next corner. And we've seen with a few of the crests, for example, the McRae crest earlier, where they were just trying to, the Collins crest, to give it its official title, where they're just trying to make sure that the front end doesn't flip over itself. You've not only got to contend with that, you've also got to contend with the fact that you're trying to turn, which isn't the easiest in these conditions, and you're just hoping that the tyres are going to grip up enough so that you're able to turn, and you don't have any snowbanks in that particular corner as well to help you. So I think they're going to provide some challenges for the drivers. Isa, though, showing how to use snowbanks on the inside that time as he threw himself into that corner.
Yeah, he's committed. He's nothing but committed, is our Isa. And, he's just looking for a top 5 result overall in the race net. Just looking to keep himself on par with Lambar. The one thing he doesn't want at the moment is some kind of retirement, because that would put him all the way down in the creator standings. It would probably take him out of the race net lead as well. He does have the lead in both championships, the race net standings and the creator standings. So do you know when we first started this, we were like, do you know what, we better make a separate creator standings, because our creators aren't going to be that fast, and I don't think they'll be able to beat the whole race net lot. What a waste of time that was. I think Lembar won both last time out, and Eisen using in the shout of doing the same this time too, as just having a little moment through there. But yeah, it's funny how these things work out, isn't it?
Yeah, no, well, I mean, if they're not, they have to be good at the game to be a creator, otherwise they get absolutely ribbed on Twitter. So I think that's just that's pressured, I think, a couple of the creators into being even better at the game. Yeah, also interesting to note that when Gareth was talking about Isa not retiring, he didn't cut back to us, because I think we would have seen him praying in the meantime. But well,
look,
I think
commentators' curse doesn't exist. There's just bad drivers. That's the truth. That's the truth. I've never told Isa that, but we've just got a load of bad drivers, as Punju shows us that the commentator's curse doesn't exist by crashing into that tree, and he rolls forward.
Yeah, I mean, well, Punju's made a few mistakes today that he just wouldn't have wanted to. And I think that's just the difficulty of a rally like this. That those little mistakes can see you spiraling down the order. And I think the fact that we've got even 3 or 4 drivers within the top 30 with JPH just being able to cling on in 31st, I think it's impressive, the fact that they've just been mistakeless. So there's not much to note. Across the line comes Valembar, 4 minutes 31, which that throws him in the mix. I think that's 3rd overall. So yeah, well, I say throws him in the mix. That's one of the quickest times that we've seen. So continually impressive stuff from Valembar, almost continual to the point where it's become normal.
Absolutely. He was just turning his lights off on that stage as well. One of the strategies that some of our drivers take as Punju comes over the line, a 4:44, a 4:29 for Eisenmusing. What was it, 4:36 or 4:26 from Valembar? 4:26, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's there or thereabouts, certainly, for Eisenmusing. As I'm sure we'll get a good view of the standings as we come through it here. So yeah, just ahead actually. So it's a 4:31, sorry, from Valembar. So he gained a little bit more time there, just a little bit more time, taking a bit of time here, taking a bit of time there, and yeah, good work from him.
Yeah, I mean, all of this pretty much is good work. I think we're underrating all the individual performances because of how good the collective has been tonight, with, well, all the drivers just being super impressive. I don't think there's been anybody that's made too big of a mistake, and we've got especially those top 4, 5 drivers who've just been completely mistakeless. They've not put a foot wrong all evening, and especially the 2 championship contenders and the man that you can see on your screen here, Kamikaze. They've just, although we did see Kamikaze make a slight mistake in stage 1, I believe it was, he's really come back to demonstrate his ability. He's come back to demonstrate, well, the perfect run, essentially. He just keeps banging them in, and he's going to look to bang this next one in. I think that's 4:25, which would be, well, that's first. That's first by 3 seconds again. So it's becoming the norm.
Yeah, he's something else, isn't he?
What happened?
He is something else. He is first overall on that stage. Must be first overall, as we have Ancephallosis here, just working his way through this stage here, and I believe that stage 7 or what stage? I'm completely lost count. Was that stage 6?
That was stage 6.
It was stage 6. So we should be able to have some actual interviews now, as we will come to that as soon as they have them. But yeah, I mean, impressive stuff. You know, I agree. The pace that we see from our drivers is very, very interesting. I tell you what, should we get Punju in for an interview? We haven't spoken to him yet tonight. Punju, how are you doing? Making progress out there, having a few moments we saw as well. A dramatic moment where you span almost at full speed.
It was absolutely at full speed. I was flat out all the way up until that point. But did we catch it or did we catch it, Gareth? We caught it. So you know what? This is the creator series, not the sweatier series. That was content, is what I'm telling myself to get over the insane adrenaline rush that I'm feeling right now. It was insane. But it's been a fun day. It's been a fun day. Tough, but fun day.
I mean, you were quite quick on one of the long stages. 10:01, was it? I mean, maybe not as quick as, say, a Kamikaze, but still a very, very good time to be able to flirt even with the 9 minutes.
Yeah, honestly, overall, I'm feeling pretty good about my pace. Like, it's pretty decent. I'm having to work pretty hard. But I think those longer stages have always been like the stages that I've been pretty good at. And so I just wanted to, like, you know, capitalize on the advantage they had when I got there, and I think I did a pretty good job at it.
Would you say the longest stage is your biggest strength, and would you say there's a particular reason for it? Do you think it's the focus that maybe some drivers for you it would wane? Do you think that, or for other drivers it would wane? Do you think for you it's not necessarily a problem?
Yeah, I'm going to use my media training and say I can't speak for other drivers, right? Actually, they all suck. No, just kidding. No, like, I think, yeah, I'm pretty good at staying focused for the extended period of times. I think the big thing that happens during those long ones is, like, you know, a lot of people just aren't ready for that endurance level of driving. And I do so much endurance racing that, you know, even a 20-minute stage is nothing compared to 2 hours worth of endurance racing, right? At this, like, all at once, over and over and over again. So keeping locked in, keeping focused is never really something I've been, you know, too shy against, and that's why I really love the long stages. They're just, they work for me.
Well, we'll let you get back for the rest of your stages. I'm sure we'll catch up with you a little later on, Pudgy. Always great to hear from you.
Appreciate you, my friend. See you guys.
Fantastic. And now shall we grab in the Portuguese man, GJ? How are you doing out there tonight? We have no idea, actually, because your stream has gone down, so you may want to quickly reset those streams. But GJ, how are you finding it out there tonight? If he's there, maybe he's not there.
We might be getting a no comment.
Are you muted? We certainly can't see you. You're behind the screen. GJ, hello. Hello, GJ.
Hello. How are you, my friends?
How have you been finding it?
I really don't like snow. I'm glad to live in Portugal. In my city, there is no snow, and I am glad because I don't know how to drive in the snow. I think we need to be somewhere between Ken Block and Sébastien Ogier. But if you are too much Ogier, you will be slow. If you are too much Ken Block, you will be slow. I don't know where I am, but I am slow.
It was interesting to see that you were the only driver to not go for the Volkswagen Polo. You went for the Ford instead. What was the thinking behind that?
this week I don't have time to practice. It's a rally. I don't like the rally. I don't have time to practice, so it's equal for me. Then be in the faster car or in the slowest one. And if you put the two cars, I always will choose the Ford Fiesta because of all of history, all of history of the car. And yeah, I don't go for the win because I don't have the pace. So let's choose the car which I like more, and let's have fun with that.
Well, that's great to hear from you. If you could quickly just reset your video feed, by the way, but in the background,
Okay.
if you haven't moved before the next stage, and then your feeds will work. But yeah, good luck with the rest of the stages, GJ, and we hope to see that Ford Fiesta out there.
Thank you.
There we are. We got GJ in for the interview to hopefully reset his feeds, and then hopefully we'll be able to have some of that Portuguese talent. I mean, from the sounds of it, he doesn't sound like we may have missed much from his driving.
I'm just going to have a look now to see where he is actually in the standings, because we had that from JBH last time out, and then he ended up being what was he, P20? Where was he, P31 or something like that?
It was very good, right? It was very good. People's reference points, I guess. Once you get into these rhythms, once you've tasted victory in a club, you want to be right back up there every single week, right? So you know the podiums, the victories, all of that stuff. Once you taste it, you're not happy with 31st anymore. It doesn't matter that there's over 400 people who have put in times, and you're better than nearly 370 people. You need to be better than those further 29.
Well, I've just found him. GJ is 37th in the standings on that last stage at least. So high expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. It is fascinating to see that. Sometimes, it's exactly as I said. It's just that you get used to being at the top, and anything other is a letdown.
Well, yeah, and then I think especially because of the fact that all the drivers are so quick tonight. Yeah, 38th on the previous stage as well. So in and around where JPH is, for reference. So yeah, I think they've got high expectations because of how everyone else is driving tonight. But yeah, I wouldn't talk down his performance too much if I was him.
100%. So Punju out there about halfway through this stage being stage 7, and we're going to have a little bit of name. You can go for that one.
I was hoping you would. I saw it on my director, and I just went, I'm going to leave this to you. But Naptionet, I think the J might be silent.
Naptonet, yeah. So that sounds Scandinavian. So it's a new game. That sounds Scandinavian. And Blackback Furniture or WRC Rally Stage. We're not sure, but Punju is out there at the moment enjoying this section of the rally, and just really chucking it in and feeling the entire. He's been quite smooth. He's been quite consistent. A little tap on the rear of the car as I say that, but didn't just unsettle them slightly. The slower speed corners. That's where you can maybe just use a little bit of the snowbanks, but they can, unsettle the car and just tap it, and oh, there we are, getting into the snowbank now on that faster corner, caused the couple of wheels in there, and it just locked those wheels up and sent them into a spin. Nicely recovered, no damage from that. But just to take you out your flow, and we've spoken about this before on the Creator Saves broadcast, when you make one mistake, you lose that flow, and what you've got to do is just not try and push yourself like you were in that kind of flow, and just try and build up to it. Kind of get into your own rhythm, cycle at your own pace, and hopefully you can then kind of get yourself back into the flow without making any further mistakes.
Yeah, athletes talk a lot about flow state, which is where they're just ready. Once they get into the right headspace, then it's like an out-of-body experience. They'll just feel anything, or they won't feel anything. They'll feel as though they're watching themselves drive. And I feel like for a few drivers tonight, that's exactly what they have as Isa, just going over that crest like it was nothing, and continuing on. That's where Punju's going to try and find himself back in. I think also the slower speed corners disrupt your flow, because there's a huge difference between just going over the straights, going over the crests, just almost flat out, maybe changing down a gear or two as Vlembar comes across the line with a 4:37, which, well, that's third place, sealed. Just like that for Vlembar. But yeah, so he's certainly entered flow state. Isa's in flow state. Kamikaze's in flow state. And I think as Punju comes across the line, runs over those marshals quite aggressively, see what sort of time he's put in. That he's 50th with a 4:56. So yeah, even though it's not looking like a great time, compared to some of the others tonight, as Isa's gone quickest in that stage. This is just sensational stuff.
Yeah, I know, fantastic. We have Kamikaze still out there on the road, and he's been setting up some really, really good times. What was it, 4:26 to beat on that stage? He's coming through the final sector now, and Kamikaze will be charging towards it. Let's see if he's made any mistakes on this rally. Super, super fast, pulling in the miles here as Ancephalosys having a little bit of a wobble there on the right.
Yeah, it's the difference between the drivers that are just right up the top and the drivers that aren't quite out there, like Punju and like Ancephalosys, where normally in a broadcast we wouldn't quite notice those mistakes as much as we are tonight, but because of the fact that all the drivers just appear to be in an absolute state of just another being, of the drivers that are right up the top, that we are noticing those mistakes from someone like Ancephalosys a little bit more, which is a little bit harsh on him. But, well, you're on the broadcast, you're going to get scrutinised even more so tonight.
Yeah, so it was
Kamikaze goes first again.
Yeah, 4:34, 4:36 was to beat from Isa Musing. 4:52 from Ancephalosys. I believe that's faster than Punju, so very, very decent driving from himself. We do have Jam and JPH, I believe, still out there climbing through the stage. Jam coming towards the flying finish as we speak. 4:34 is the fastest. 5:15 is where he is, so that's maybe the slowest time we've seen go over so far. And should we risk? Shall we see if GJ's back with us? There we are. At least GJ's video is with us now. We can finally see that Ford Fiesta out there. May not be the quickest, but you know, and also the frames are dropping badly, but we can at least see a moving image.
Yeah, well, we can see a few images. I don't know whether they're stringing together, but it means that we can see the Ford, which will handle differently. It'll be a different beast to that of the Volkswagen that all the other drivers have chosen to contend with tonight. And well, he's still up there. He's top 30s is what he's challenging for. So it's not like he's completely out of it, completely pointless to watch, because, well, all of these they're just mesmerizing. If we were to switch back to see us, you just see me, if Gareth's talking especially, you just see me eyes boggled, mouth open, just, well, there we go. Just
I want to see
transfixed. Just transfixed by the quality we've got on offer tonight.
Yeah, so GJ under the 5 minute mark there, so that puts him on the impressive side certainly. JPH didn't quite catch what he got on that stage, but I'd be surprised if it was out of 4 minutes. Yeah, 4:48 for himself, so a good time from him certainly as we come towards what will be the next stage that the others have started. There we are, Punju, as we come along board. He's having a big wobble there, and he had his mouth open certainly, as that's not done the right thing there, and I hope that hasn't just frozen up massively on the stream side.
It's not looking good.
Just bear with us. Sometimes it does come back. We can still hear everything going on. So we've just had a little bit of a freeze on our side. But, I mean, Punju just having that wobble there, not looking super impressive. But, you know, let's just see. There we are. It's come back. We're back in the show. And Punju just had that wobble. And he's managed to carry on going forward here. Blembo on the right. He's always the first person to cross on each line. I think I feel like it's a psychology thing. He's going to get out there slightly earlier than Isamusing and Punju and put those times in and not be chasing a target. He's the target to chase. And if he can just consistently get the times in as he hits a signpost on the left, and it's still crashing. There we are, just about recovers it. I was just about to say, if he can get the times in, as Punju also throws it into a wooden fence, he still has a shout, but he's still in it. He's just checked his damage over. Nothing too bad on the card, just a bit of time loss, maybe 10-second time loss for him there.
Commentator's Curse is coming out now, and it's coming out in full blast.
It's fine, it doesn't exist.
Well, I mean, it's certainly coincidental that you've just bigged up those two, and then suddenly they've gone. But well.
Isamusing, I believe the Isamusing is jinx, but a commentator's curse. It's never happened to me. I've never cursed anyone.
Well, I mean, there's always a first time for everything, and well, yeah, they've gotten back going pretty all right. Well, I say pretty all right. They're still going quickly. Vlembar's just trying to find himself back into that state. That could be a mistake. If he can't quite get it right, that could be a mistake. That just ruins his run. That ruins pretty much perfection that he's had at the moment. Because you mentioned it earlier, he can't just go back to driving like he did just then. He has to build up the confidence. He has to just earn his stripes, earn his way back into the flow state that you were talking about earlier, or I was talking about, I think.
You were.
But yeah. But yeah,
I ushered around it. I danced around it, and you came out with the actual term for it. So, hats off to yourself.
Yeah, I'll give myself credit for that one. But yeah, it's just he's having to fight his way back into it now, because there will be, as much as he doesn't look like it, he will be thinking about it, and he's just going to have to put it to the back of his mind now.
Yeah, absolutely. Punju just going a bit deep into that, recovers onto the road. Racing lines so important on these snowy these stages in Sweden. Two snow only events in the game at the moment. Rally Sweden, Rally Norway as well. As Vlembar just rides that bank on the inside for I felt like that was certainly purposeful, but Vlembar just pushing on here. He can't push too much to recover that time. He's just got to know that that's gone, and he's just got to keep it consistent. That's his chance of winning today. Not by winning. If he won by a mile over Isamusing and he was still second, he'll still be in there. So he's just got to keep it consistent. Try and pick up the points if they're on offer. But we'll see. With Kamikaze running so well, Kamikaze could be a kingmaker for Isamusing if he had a mistake anyway. But Vlembar coming towards the flying finish here. He's got 3 left after this and over the finish. Lovely navigated there from Vlembar. 4:59 is the time to beat. Isamusing, I believe, still out there at the moment, and Punju still out there. Both of them around the final sector gate on this stage here, and look at that, just riding that gully so nicely was Isamusing on the right there.
And I mean, there's a very, very fine line between what looks to be a mistake that's actually intentional, and you touched on it earlier, where Vlembar, it looked like he might have made a mistake, but actually it worked into his advantage. And even though he ended up making that mistake, he still slotted himself in the top. Where is he? He's 9th, so he's still slotting himself in the high positions, in with a shout. But Isa, he didn't have the same mistake, and 4 minutes 53 will slot him in. As I just trying to bring it up, it slots him in either 4th or 5th.
Yeah, so a good time. I think a little bit faster than Vlembar there. We do have Punju. That's not Punju, sorry, that's certainly GJ. Punju, who's crossed over the line, of course, having a few mistakes on that rally, picking up a time penalty as well. That's cast him outside of the top 100. Not something you see very often there.
Well, yeah, especially tonight with all the drivers being in and around the top 30s, and Isamusing doing a little punch just to demonstrate that he knows he's gone a little bit faster. He knows that there was a mistake in that run from Vlembar. No mistakes, though, from Kamikaze. He slots himself in first. 3.3 is that 3.3 or 3.6 seconds up on second place either way.
It was
A
a lot of
huge
time.
margin.
Kamikaze putting himself in the pound seat to win this rally as we go over the halfway distance with this one. And Jam out there at the moment, he's just navigating this final sector. Just a little bit slower in pace, but looking for consistency. Get consistency first. You can build up speed a lot more easier as he just chucks it in a little bit too violently there. Almost loses control of the car. But he's certainly had an excursion somewhere because the bonnet doesn't look like it wants to stay attached for too long. But I believe he has a surface now. 6:46 from him. A shake of the head. He knows he's left time on the table there on that stage.
Yeah, there was probably a minute in it where something must have gone awry for Jam in that stage. And I think, well, what have we got? We've got 4 stages to go. Something along those lines. Yeah, 4 stages to go. So there is time to be made up. There's time to demonstrate yourself for the rest of the season, towards the end of this season. Now, this is the finale, of course, is JPH. Couldn't tell if that was intentional. He made it look it towards the end, but surely it wasn't.
Yeah, absolutely. We could pull in Ancephalosis for a quick interview. We haven't heard from the man who's well wrapped up. How's it been going out for you in the snowy tunnels?
It's been going good. It's been going pretty good. A little bit of a mixed bag now, but I think overall we're still pretty good. So I know the stage Napjernet very, very well, which is like the first half of I don't know how to pronounce it, Asnes. So
Osnes, apparently. We found out in the broadcast. Osnes.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Osnes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that could mean a really bad word in Swedish. So, who knows?
I'll say it 2 more times.
Yeah,
okay. But anyway, I was hoping to really, really nail those stages, and I think I actually did decent in the 2 longies. I think I got 18th on Asnes, which was wild. But I did get like, I think in the last 2 stages, I think I got like 3 or 4 penalties, which I was much less pleased about. But I think we're still above 100, which always kind of feels like my goal. So I'm happy to be doing well in Sweden. I love the snow so much. I was very much looking forward to this race. It's sad it's the last one of the season, but I'm stoked for it.
Anyway, Ancephalosis, as you probably pronounce it in Sweden somewhere. We've got the drivers tonight are putting in times that just we weren't expecting anywhere near. Was that something that you were expecting to be contending with tonight, where maybe you're not near the top of the broadcast, at least?
Yeah. I mean, I never expect to be near the top when you're racing with people like Kamikaze, Vlembar, Izza. There's just so many. I mean, even JPH, GJ, these are some seriously fast drivers. Everybody here, I'm always blown away how well everybody drives consistently. So I was really hoping that I could kind of. So I have P6 on the Napjernet time trial. I was kind of hoping I could keep that under wraps, and I was doing it for fun yesterday, and I couldn't help but notice Kamikaze was number 3rd. So it's like. Even on the one that I was hoping to keep close to my chest and run away with, these guys are still walking all over me. So I'm here to drive my race, and I'm having a blast driving as fast as I can. And I'm honored to be anywhere near some of them on some of these stages.
Yeah, well, we'll let you get back to it. Loving the fashion skate, by the way. Keep turning up in that. Is it keeping you warm?
I am sweating. I gotta keep filling my water up.
Yeah, well, we'll let you get to it anyway, Ancephalosis. And we will go in for an interview with Jam. How are you doing today, Jam? We saw you a little bit disappointed at the end of that last stage, a little bit off the pace. Car looked like it had been around a tree a couple of times. Not ideal for you here today, Jam? Oh, you're on mute. I don't know why you're on mute. It doesn't say you're on mute. Yeah, now I can hear the beautiful Jam. There we are.
I was on push to talk. My bad.
Yeah.
Funny enough, none of that damage was probably from trees. It was just literally rolling the car over and over again. Still not a good result, honestly. I'm trying my best, but
how many flips you do? Flip count. Come on.
I lost track of 10, so maybe. It's today hasn't really been, or this week has not been kind of good for me. I didn't get a lot of time to really practice. Plus the fact that there's a lot of like tech issues, and me being the latest time zone in the entire group, everybody's got like half their day started, and I'm still in bed, kind of thing. So, yeah, it's a struggle bus for sure, but it is what it is. It's a great time. It's always obviously a pleasure to be doing this with y'all. Yeah.
What's the aim for the flip counter for the last 4 stages? Is it going to be 0, or are you being a little bit more realistic about it?
I'm gonna be real. Yeah, I'm gonna be real. It's probably gonna be a bit more. The car is not in a good state at the moment. I think it kind of went to hell at stage like 3 or something. And when I kind of had a little bit of a concentration loss, clipped the back tire onto something, and then it started flying. And then everything kind of just went down after that, unfortunately.
Well, there's always points on offer later on, and just keep looking out there, Jam, and
of course,
I'm
like
sure.
I set a goal for myself to at least get to top 100 of the entire series. I'm at that at the moment.
Yeah,
I'm happy. So
no DNFs.
Whatever happens, I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely, Jam. Appreciate you as always. We will see you in a moment. Yeah, a little bit disappointed with himself there, but it's hard to compare yourself against some of these drivers when they're just setting those times.
Oh yeah, especially tonight with the fact that they are setting those times where it's just times that we pretty much haven't seen before, at least not on such a consistent basis at the top. But yeah, he's still like the times that he's putting in are still top 100, as he said, as Punju goes for a roll, recovering himself pretty well. But yeah, I think some of the times that we've been seeing tonight are just so unexpected, as Eyes Amusing makes a mistake. 7-second reset penalty is what he's going to take, but it's just a brief roll there. That's the first sign of being human that we've got from Isa all evening.
Yeah, he absolutely, he's been really consistent, and it is just 7 seconds, and of course a little bit extra because it resets, slows you down, you don't carry the momentum, maybe about a 10-second time loss overall, but you can't have too many of those. And now it's really important that he gets back on the bike, gets consistency back, and recovers from that one. And those big mistakes, that's what's going to cost him the championship here, not little ones like that, as Punju goes for a lovely little pirouette there, a nice 360.
Beautiful.
And carries on his way. If you're going to spin, do it like that.
He's just showboating. He doesn't need to. He's not got a championship to fight for. He can just show off that he can 360 it. But Isa on the other camera, just knocking a pole out. This is a couple of mistakes, edging in, looking slightly nervous on that camera on the bottom right of your screens. It could be a case of he just needs to find that zone again. Vlembar did pretty well doing that in the last stage. Now it's Isa's turn, just to find it again.
Yeah, 308 as he goes through that split. He's still ahead of Punju. We've seen Punju had that little mistake, and wonder how Vlembar's doing out there. 322, quite considerably further on this stage. So I don't think it's going to be too much of a time loss to Vlembar on this stage, but it's a time loss nonetheless, and he doesn't want those to add up. Punju just absolutely flying it through some of these jumps here. Super committed is he, and as we go just a few more lengths here, I think Vlembar could certainly be in a position to do quite well here and pick a little bit of time up on his championship rival. He's coming towards the flying finish now. He's got this right hand 90-degree corner to contend with, just flicks the tail out. A 4:07 is what's going to be to beat. Can Isa Amusing do anything here to respond to that one? He's already gone over that. 4:08.9 for him. So 7-second penalty, 10-second time loss, but Vlembar having his own mistakes out there at the same time.
Yeah, they slot in, considering the fact that they've been first, third, fifth, whatever, all session long. I think they slot themselves in 15th and 18th at the end. So still decent times, but not on the level that we've seen them Punju's Volkswagen looking a bit beaten up after a couple of rolls in that session. I'm sure that a couple of these drivers will have a couple of beaten up polos. This one though is unlikely to be, well, it's pretty much spotless, the Volkswagen of Kamikaze, as he heads through. He's got about 20 seconds to go in his run. Isa and Vlembar won't be up there, so he won't have the pressure from any of the drivers on the broadcast in this run. But as he comes up to the line, he's looking to beat a 3:59.9 to be top of the overall standings. He's beaten that by almost 3 seconds again, so he's keeping that 3 second gap consistent. But wow,
I mean, if he found 10 seconds on his Creator Series rivals in 8 kilometers, so you know, obviously we saw mistakes out there. Also shows Music probably lost 10 seconds of that mistake, so he was on a very, very decent pace there until he made that had that moment. But yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it, that he's just slowed himself down there, and you know, it cost him 10 seconds. That's 10 seconds he could have gained on Vlembar. Just lost a second to him overall. But Kamikaze just rooting his way in, and yeah, showing why he's out to win this overall rally. A little question in chat from Wolf's Kaska. I'm going to guess how you say it. The reason his quality is so low is because we've had some technical difficulties. His screen does not look like that. Rest assured, it's just because he has a super wide screen, and I'm not picking up the correct bitrate from him for whatever reason. So that's the technical explanation. The fanciful explanation is the trees are causing it to cut out, just like when you watch Rally TV. So you know, that's why that is. But here we are. Ancephalosis towards the final part of this rally. He's coming over the line now. 4:19 from himself. That feels like a very, very good time from him.
Yeah, well, considering his expectations, it's pretty decent. It's in the top 50 at least. So yeah, definitely a very, very good time that he's had on his hands. And again, that car looks a little bit beaten up. Not sure 100% why. Oh no, he wasn't. Oh no, he was. He was exactly 50th.
Yeah.
So
what a guess. That's technical analysis from you, Jojo. That, you know, you come in. We don't need standings. You're just going to come in, give everyone a number at the end of the stage, and that's where we're going to give points from.
That sounds fine by me. I just stick John near the bottom so it can be a lot closer as we head into the power stage.
I'm going to tell him that. JPH coming towards the end of this rally as well. This stage, which I believe is stage 9, is State of Vargason? Yeah, we're going with that.
Vargason?
Yes.
I reckon there's more of an emphasis on the S.
There we are. And he's got the Scandinavian flowing by the end of this broadcast as well. Joe's in his flow state, his commentary flow state, and JPH, someone who wasn't that happy with the conditions. I shouldn't say the conditions, you know, the characteristics of this stage. 4:21 from himself. That puts him right in contention with Ancephalosis, just a little bit behind. There we are. Ancephalosis actually been trumped overall there, down into 51st, as another creator sets this time. 58th for JPH. Still good. Still very, very good, right? Like, put this in context. That's still an incredibly fast time in a club that gets, you know, over 400 entries each week, sometimes over 500. He's a quick dude. Here's JPH.
Yeah, and I mean, he won't be happy with that, but I'm sure that most of the other members of the club will be ecstatic by that. Would be ecstatic with that time. 24th overall, not that far off now. The top 2, because of the fact that they top 2 being the top 2 championship contenders, just because of the fact that they did make mistakes. So in terms of today, if there is any more mistakes, then JPH is there and he's ready to pounce in terms of taking the points out of the creator standings. As Isa, intentional or not?
Yeah, it's hard to tell, isn't it? It was maybe a little bit risky, but it's something I wouldn't do. but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a quick thing to do from Isa. But yeah, there we are. Bunju just it's the standard comparison. Isa's absolutely chucking it in. Punju, sorry, is chucking it over the snowbanks. But this is a lovely part of the valley that Isa Musing going through. Chuck it over here on the left and just plunge downwards. And I think there's a bridge coming up as well. And it's just such a tight technical part of the valley. This I absolutely love watching cars go through it full tilt because the width of the road, is so narrow, and you've got to be so committed through the bridge here, jumping over that crest there, and towards this flying finish as he heads uphill here. 1 minute 35. It's one of the quickest stages we have on the calendar, and yeah, a very, very good time there for Isa Musing. I wonder what Vlembar's got out there.
Yeah, that will be in and around the top 7, I think that is, because 7th place has a 135.745. But yeah, Vlembar, where is he? He's hiding it. He's 10th.
He's 10th.
Was that 10th?
It's 10th.
I think that was.
Well, it was 10th when he went over. I think it's 11 now because Isa Musing has gone into 5th position. As you say, and compare all the timetables. One of them will be right. The last person to go over the line, that will be. But yeah, very, very interesting. Let's see if Kamikaze, he'll be out there on the road, won't he? Has he just come to the end of his rally? He's at the top. He's certainly at the top. 132 is that?
You guys don't want to go to broadcast?
It looks like at 132.9. I think that is. So that's only a.
That I'm sending again?
Well, that's only a 1 second gap to the car behind. So he's sort of slipping so far. But yeah, just a shame that the stream wasn't quite high quality enough where we could actually catch the final standings of the 2 championship contenders.
Yes, absolutely. I think JPH hasn't actually gone out there yet, so he's yet to do this short stint of a stage. But what stage are we on now? Are we on stage 10? Have we got 2 left?
Good luck.
So yeah, here's JPH heading out onto that stage now, and let's see what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it because there's.
Well, it's Augshon.
Augshon?
Yeah, we're still on Augshon. It's fine. The next one, I have no idea. You are doing it though, so get researching, get that phonetic alphabet out, and you'll be doing it. But yeah, I believe there's a service area now, and it's the only service before the actual power stage that will round out this championship. I think it's only right that we pull in maybe Isa Musing and Vlembar at the same time for a little interview together. How are the nerves feeling as we go into the final 2 stages of this season's championship? Isa Musing, starting with you.
The nerves. I will admit a little bit nervous now. When you've got this far after a long season with so many good, hard-fought battles, you really don't want to screw it up. And in the last 2 stages, I've definitely sort of got out of the rhythm a little bit. So, yeah, a little bit of pre-race nerves, as they say in the last 2 stages. But it's a rally like that. You've got to be on the limit.
Vlembar, yourself, how have you been finding it? Do you feel like you've put your best foot forward today?
I think looking at it realistically, probably, yeah. I had a few mistakes, but to be honest, I kind of want him here. Tough rally, it's a bit difficult, so I think I probably maximized what I could do, and it's looking, I think, like a P3 at the moment, if I'm not.
And tyre strategy-wise, guys, are you happy to share? Have you got a fresh set of tyres for the power stages?
So every single 2 stages, you have a fresh set of tires on snow. For some reason, they give us 6 sets of tires. So we've got.
So you're picking an all set pair of tires, both. You're taking the challenge, yeah?
Yeah, of course not. I'm actually in quite a big fight trying to catch Kamikaze. I don't think I can now. I'm just making a mistake, but we're trying.
He's been sensational, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, I just want to give a shout out to Vlembar as well, because he's done such an incredible job on controller, and I think a lot of people don't realize how difficult it is to get near the limit on the controller. So I find it every single time exceptional, the pace that he is able to achieve. So, and I think he's quite harsh on himself sometimes. So I just wanted to put that out there on the record.
Thank you. I mean, to be fair, coming up against you, former esports driver, still esports, I have to say, yeah, I really do love the challenge. Really looking forward to next season.
Absolutely great to have that. Look, that's what the rivalry is all about. It's it's such a good, friendly community here in WRC. I'll let you both go and complete this championship. Best of luck to the both of you, and Isa, don't bottle it. I thought you'd like that one. They're going to go out there. The final two stages here. Have you guessed how to say that yet?
Well, what 11? I think we're just going to skip over the pronunciation of stage 10, but
Aukshon. That's not too hard. Aukshon. I'd go for that one.
It's the two accents that scare me, I think, because I don't know what they do to a word.
It must be Aukshon. Aukshon. Must be. It must be Aukshon. No one can actually confirm that it isn't. So I'm going to presume that it is. Keep your comments to yourself in chat. But X-Sharid is the one that will be next up. And Punju will be out there as well in the same pack. Punju's actually already got onto the stage there, started this final pick. And yeah, as Isa said and informed us, fresh set of tyres for everyone out there, if they've remembered to fit them.
Well, yeah, I think that's the important part, because I think a couple of the drivers with less of the experience on WRC might not know that, because it seems like Isa was not withholding information, but definitely this isn't something he would have informed his competitors about if he didn't think they knew. He knew Vlembar knew, so he was more than willing to share. But yeah, Punju driving through now in a slippy stage from the looks of things. I talked about it earlier. There was not much distinguishing the track and the off-roading. There's even less now.
Yeah, very, very white out there, kind of blends of blue and white. Very hard to pick it out. But, they're all in similar situations out there. Punju coming towards the end of this penultimate stage here. Next stage, we have power stage, points on offer. Remember, it's the FIA point scoring system for the whole valley. 25 points for a win as Punju just rides that snowbank a little bit too hard. But it is, of course, for the power stage, we have 5 points for a win on that stage, and fifth is 1 point. Punju coming over the penultimate stage before that power stage, a 1:44 from himself, so a decent time out there, and we'll be able to catch up, see how Vlembar and Eisenmusing are doing out there too, both setting decent times already, and looking to close this one out. Vlembar coming towards the flying finish now, a 1:35 from himself and a 1:37 from Eisenmusing. So a couple of seconds lost there, no big deal for Eisenmusing, still heading the game.
I think that might be Vlembar top of the standings. I know top currently has 1:35. So, yeah, Vlembar beating out Isa on that particular stage. Kamikaze, though, they'll be looking to beat them both out because, well, he's done so far tonight. I think he's been quickest in almost all stages. However, and let's play another game of mistake or intentional there. As Kamikaze just literally holding it as close as he can to the built-up snow on the side, just riding over it to give himself as much of an advantage as he can. Jam, not quite as intentionally riding it, but he's just getting back into the rhythm.
Yep, Jam, making a few mistakes out there. He's just looking for that top 100 time to keep him in the top 100 of the overall standings. Let's see if he's done enough today to achieve that goal for himself. But Kamikaze, there he is, just cool as a cucumber, adjusting his glasses, adjusting his hat, giving himself a little itch as he rides over 150 kilometers an hour in that Volkswagen Polo towards the final split. That was about a 1:16 through that split. What was it, a 1:35 for Vlembar overall? We spoke about Kamikaze trying to be caught by Eisenmusing. 38 seconds was the gap between those two. But there we are. This is surely going to be right on touching distance from Vlembar. I think Vlembar may have just sniffed that one over the two of them. I
think he has. I think that's Kamikaze splitting the two. Still fourth place, I think that time is. Yeah, there we go. That's 5th place.
Yeah, I think you
Where's
said.
Vlembar? Vlembar is
Yeah,
3rd,
you're
and
second.
then Isa is in 6th. I'm just basing that off the flag, so I could be completely wrong, but I
no,
think
he's
that's
you're
where
right.
He's
Yeah, I think
fine.
you're
I
right.
think that's where they start themselves in.
Splitting them certainly a 2:11 there from Jam, and we've got to have all eyes on the fight for the championship here at the top. Eyes Amusing and Vlembar, they're both going to set off very, very soon in just a minute's time, and we've got to keep eyes on the championship here between these two because they are the championship rivals. Eyes Amusing, he could slip up, right? And nothing is done until it's done. And I'm not trying to jinx Eyes Amusing here, but I am just trying to just keep it real here because if he loses the power stage points, if he loses the points of the whole rally because of a DNF on the stage, and Kamikaze slips up, then Vlembar will be in a chance here. But it's two big ifs. Kamikaze's looked perfect today. Usually a glass cannon, but he looked fantastic. And Eyes Amusing has just been as cool as a cucumber through each of the stages, even making mistakes, losing say for 7 seconds here, a few seconds here, just recovering from it, getting back in his flow. And Eyes Amusing very, very close to wrapping up his first championship here.
And I think it was good for Kamikaze as well to get his first mistake out of the way quite quickly in stage 1, because then he's just able to build up that momentum, whereas Vlembar and Isa both had their momentum broken by their mistakes. So then a little bit of nervousness as they continued on. We've now got the final one, the power stage. Lovstahon, I think that would be pronounced. I'm hoping.
Perfect. I'm guessing it's perfect. 8 kilometers of driving bliss between Eyes Amusing and his first Creator Series championship. Vlembar chasing after his second one. He won, of course, the last season. He's the reigning Creator Series champion. May only be the reigning Creator Series champion for 8 more kilometers here. And the overall champion as well, Eyes Amusing, still trying to go from that. We won't have confirmation of that until 7 a.m. tomorrow, but he's looking in fine fettle here. As long as he can keep it on the straight and narrow, stick to the middle of these lanes. He doesn't need to do anything spectacular here. He just needs to do his, a solid pace. 95% is certainly enough. Push over 100%. You could be putting yourself out of this one.
Yeah, and that's what all of the drivers have pretty much echoed. The fact that they really can't push too hard because then it will all just go wrong. I think it was JBH that said earlier or JPH, sorry, that said earlier that if you try to push yourself, then you're just going to go over the limit. It's just about keeping it. It's about knowing where to push. It's about keeping it just about on the straight and narrow, and it certainly is narrow in some parts of this stage. And well, they are just gonna try and keep it straight and narrow. I think it's just going to be management to the end for Isa, maybe not for Vlembar as he's trying to topple Kamikaze, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they approach this final power stage.
One of the first things that I ever really remember Eyes Amusing telling me when I first started commentating Rally is that slowing down is sometimes the one thing you don't want to do because you know the lines when you're going quick, as Vlembar has a little bit of a moment on a snowbank, recovers from it okay, but you know the lines when you're going quite quick. You know the lines when you're pushing flat out, but you don't know the right lines when you are off the pace, when you're a little bit slower through this corner, when you're a little bit wider through that corner. And that's when mistakes can start to creep in. So, yes, take it consistent, but make sure that you're near your pace maximum because you know how to drive the car at the pace maximum. That's what you aim to do. And I think this is what Eyes Amusing is trying to do here. Focus up, push to near the maximum, 9 tenths, but don't put yourself into peril needlessly where you can. Make those efficiencies where you are. Just slow yourself down a little bit in mindset, but not in actual pace. So here we go. Through here, 2:31 compared to 2:55. They're not in exactly the same place, but we are going to get a good signal here as Vlembar comes through the split on the right. He's currently running maybe a 3.8, 3.10, a 3.15 between there, certainly as he goes through that. A 3.10 as he hits that split gate. Eyes amusing. Currently a 2:55. Let's see where he is as he comes towards this left-hander, this tricky section. And I think he may just be on the same pace here as Vlembar. 2:05 or 2:06. It was a 3:10 as Vlembar went over, and there we are, just a second ahead at the moment from Eyes Amusing. Really, it doesn't matter because they're both so quick. But the final sector is here, the final stage, the final part of this rally, of this championship. It really all comes down to this, but we know that Eyes Amusing has got it in hand. He's done so much all year, commentating, racing, putting people to bed, late doors every week in the club. And Vlembar, he's going to finish his campaign with a 4-minute 2 over the line. And Eyes Amusing coming towards the final kilometre flag there. He will put his to bed. And will he finally get that Creator Series Championship that he's craved? Will he not bottle it on the final few corners? I don't think he will. Eyes Amusing is going to be the champion here. He's going to throw it into the final corner over the line. It's a 4:02. And look at the smile on his face. He has won the Creator Series Championship here.
Yeah, the relief I think that he's feeling right now is sensational. Isa is a Creator Series champion, and he's ecstatic. You can see how excited he is by it. I think the marshals are probably going to be getting very bored waiting for him because he could be there all evening. That's the emotion that he's feeling. It's been bottling up for so long. Those second places, just that waiting that he's had to do, the hard work that he's put in, and he is across the line as a champion. Kamikaze, I think, has come across.
I think he was doing sprints before the line. Was Kamikaze. Kamikaze by name, Kamikaze by nature, right at the end there. But Eyes Amusing. How long can you do that before the game decides to slap you on the wrist? But Kamikaze, I think he's won the overall stage there. Well, he hasn't won a stage, but he's run the overall rally. He was a little bit down on that one, 10th position, but he would have to lose a heap of time to have. I'm saying 10th position. I completely mean 3rd position. I'm completely just looking at the flag there, but I believe that he's done enough there to maintain the overall rally and match what he did back in the second round of the first season. There we are, event 8 of 8. He's the top of the timings. He's absolutely top of the creators, top of the timings, and it's going to take a sensational time between now and 7 o'clock for someone to beat that.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's absolutely dominated. I think there's no doubt in my mind that he's absolutely dominated, despite the mistake that he made at the start. He's just come back from that 10 times quicker than we could have even imagined. 10 times quicker, or at least 3 seconds quicker on every stage than anyone could have imagined. And he's found time where there wasn't any.
Yeah, let's pull in Kamikaze for a little bit of an interview. The man who won this rally, the stages overall. Kamikaze, it's been a while since you won a rally outright here in the Creator Series, and you have set some sensational times today. How does it feel to finally be tasting that champagne again?
It's really good. I called it early. Sweden, we're gonna win. But yeah, it's been a tough day. The equipment you don't trust and everything, but the taste of champagne is good. It's good. Finally, some good rally, and we keep it on the road. We struggle a little bit with the grip on the 2 last one, but yeah, we try to just secure it. So overall, pretty good.
Do you think getting that big, quote unquote, mistake out of the way at the start really just paved the way? Because then you were just able to get into a rhythm, whereas the drivers that you were competing with, they made their mistakes in the middle, and then they just didn't seem to get the momentum that you were able to carry towards the end.
Maybe. I don't have that in my mind. I think when I complete a stage, we forgot the stage, and we keep on working with the next one. But yeah, maybe it's my in back of my head. Okay, I have done my crashes and disconnections. So yeah, but overall happy, and GD to all the guys in the Creator Series and everyone has taken part of it. It's been a crazy ride for season 3, and thanks for you guys as well. Always commentating and producing. It's amazing stuff.
Yeah, well, a full 30 points from today. It may have just been enough to dislodge GJ. We'll have to see how it all lodges out, but you may have just got onto the podium with that performance. So massive congratulations to yourself on today's performance and the overall campaign, travelling back from some quite rocky results at times, it must be said. But always great to have you. Always great to see you pushing to your limit. No matter what circuit it is, you go to it. So thank you very much for all the entertainment for the season.
Thank you.
Great. So now we are going to head over to the man who we can now call the Creator Series champion for Season 3 of the WRC Creator Series Club. How does it feel?
A bit surreal, to be honest. I just want to start, obviously, by saying Vlembar has driven a fantastic season, and his pace should not be smirked at. He has been absolutely outstanding. And yeah, in any other season, he probably would have been champion once again. It's been a weird season, I'll be honest. At the start, we had 2 or 3 rounds where there was no performance; it just wasn't clicking, and I almost thought, well, we'll just drive the season and just try again next season. And then mid-season, it sort of changed around. I don't know how to describe it, and we found a sweet spot. We found, performance, especially in the 4-wheel drive cars, and on rounds where I barely finished in the top 3 before, we were winning rounds and scoring very, very good points, and somehow it amounts to a championship. I must admit, on the last 2 stages, I was, to quote Richard Burns, driving worse than my grandmother. So yeah, it was a bit, nerve-wracking, that's for sure.
You think the fact that you've been able to watch the drivers throughout before you set your run, do you think that's played into your hands at all? Just being able to see where they've taken the advantage that maybe when you've been practicing you haven't spotted?
That's a good question, actually. Thinking about it, honestly, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Sometimes you pick up on a line that you haven't seen before on one stage, maybe worth about 2 or 3 seconds in that particular stage. But it depended on the day, really. Some days when you've got a broadcast beforehand and then you do 2 or 3 hours of broadcast and then you've got to go straight into your stages, it can have the adverse effect of you're already a tiny bit fatigued and it can play against you. So it's been a bit of sometimes I've been able to spot something, other times it's maybe been a tiny bit of a disadvantage, but difficult to say, really. When I commentate on the broadcast, I focus on commentating, not necessarily to gain performance from it. So there may be an advantage to take from it, but I'm not really there to take it, put it that way.
Usually dealing with me changing your name to something stupid anyway, so
Indeed.
But yeah, we come to the end of this season. You're the champion, but we go into next season with, of course, a new expansion coming out for the game, new cars, new tracks, and new deliveries. What excites you about this next season the most?
I've driven one of the stages before.
There we are. It's pay to win, isn't it? It's pay to win.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be invited to Goodwood Festival of Speed, and they decided to put me in a simulator of all things and decide to allow me to have a go on one stage. Yes, I did crash during the stage, guaranteed. But it was a surreal experience because I can say the new stages are really something else in terms of detail, in terms of feeling on the road. It was, I think there's room for cautious optimism, let's put it that way. So I can't wait.
Well, you'll go into it as the reigning champion, and I'm absolutely thrilled to say that. I would have quite liked to see a bottle as well. Who knows? It's all good content for the commentary as well. But it was a delight to be able to call you through those final few corners. You knew you had it in hand, and yeah, cautiously maybe, but fantastic work from yourself, and look forward to hearing your voice again next season.
It's going to be great. The one thing that I can say is just I'm very happy once again that everybody's had fun. The discussions in voice chat once again with all of the other drivers, it's just so fun seeing them be happy and just being able to talk about what happened during the stage, not necessarily on a serious tone, let's call it, and just make the best of the moment. And that's, I think, what the DNA of the Creator Series is all about, to be honest. So in that thing, it's been 110% success.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that, Isa. And we will see you again next season. But, it's probably best, as we always do, to round out this broadcast with a little chat with Punju, the man who helps put together the whole Creator Series broadcast and the Creator Series event that we run on WRC. Punju, how did you find Sweden first?
Sweden was everything I could have ever wanted and more. I love this stage. I love this event. It's one of the most fun ones ever. I did my roll at the corner I always roll at, and I was proud of myself for that on the power stage. So you know what? It was great. It was a lot of fun. It was a great.
You
time.
certainly looked like you were having a lot of fun out there. But yeah, I think, was this one of the most fun ones this season? Because it's certainly one of the most unique tracks. But was it up there with the most fun ones?
I'd say it's a top 3 for me. I'm like, honestly, this one, I loved Greece. Greece is just hilariously fun, and honestly, Monte Carlo was actually really fun this season as well. So I'd say, like, those are probably like some of my favorite ones. This season was just like all great combos. Like, we never had a bad week. Kenya was super fun. Like, there was never a bad week. So it's hard to even rank them because they are all so great. But this was up there on one of the best ones for sure.
Yeah, Rally Pacifico should take a mention as well. That was a super fun week as well. Super
that was
fun week.
Exceptional. Yeah, that was so good.
But going into next season, we have maybe a little bit more real estate and combinations to play with. The new WRC cars, the new rallies. What excites you about the next season of the Creator Series and the next 12 months for the WRC game?
Well, I have the definition of shiny object syndrome. So whenever something new comes out, I get super excited. So
you're a magpie.
I'm really excited. What'd you say?
A magpie. You're a magpie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think at the end of the day, like, that's a big thing to be excited about is new stages, new events, new cars. I'm especially this is probably one of the most unpopular opinions when it comes to other new stuff. I'm the most excited actually for the new Junior WRC car. Because I think that car has so much potential, and I'm really excited to see how they update it. Everybody is excited for the Yaris WRC2. Everybody loves that thing. It's going to be great. It'll be really fun to have another WRC2. Hopefully that can beat the Skoda. I'm especially also excited for Rally Poland because I watched that rally on WRC TV, and it looks redonkulous. So, yeah, I'm ready to go conquer it in the game.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for joining the broadcast once again, and we will see you next season, won't we?
Yes, you will. Next season's going to be a good one, and a lot of good surprises for next season. Everyone's going to love them.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Punju. And
appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we will close off the broadcast, but first, I think a few mentions are in order. I think I'd like to thank TK and Isa Musing for the wonderful commentary they've given us this season. Jess as well, involved earlier this year as well in the season, and yourself, Joe, for the brilliant commentary you've done today and previous in the season as well. But I'd also like to thank all of our viewers who watch this event. We're in a unique position here at the EA Sports Creator Series by being able to host this event. It's not always the smoothest ride. With the first 10 minutes of this broadcast, dumpster fire, because of the limitations that we have and what we will try and work around. And sometimes the frame rate isn't perfect. Sometimes the resolution looks like it's coming from a crisp packet. But, we do our best to put on a show for you. And I'm so appreciative for all of the chats, all of the correspondence we get, all of the feedback. It's always positive. It's always constructive. And we really, really appreciate everyone who does get involved with the series, because this community is so welcoming and fantastic.
I think that also links back to you, Gareth. I think you help make this community what it is. I think there's quite a few people, including Punju, but just because you're here, we'll talk about the fact that you do make this a welcoming community. Because I especially was definitely new to not only the Creator Series community but also the WRC community, and it's people like you and John who make this community what it is, and if I'm right in saying it's the biggest WRC community in terms of on the game.
Well, it's certainly the biggest broadcast weekly, because it may kind of be the only broadcast weekly of our stature, but I'll take it. I'll take those at that event. But yeah, I appreciate that, of course, from yourself, Joe. And you've done some wonderful commentary today. Where can we find you when you're not on the Creator Series?
Just if you look, where is it? Down there. If you just look that up anywhere, then you'll probably find me. Yeah.
Find you there. Kotkas? Do you pronounce it that? How do you pronounce it?
Kotkas.
Kotkas.
There's a missing A.
Kotkas. Okay, I'll remember that for future. Not. I just call you Joe. It's easier for me. Kotkas. Yeah, I appreciate all you've done. We're the F1 Creator Series. Of course, that's where we got our start. We have events on Friday in the F2. We have events on the Saturday for the F1. We'll be back on the 8th of October, launch day for the new game, with a special stream highlighting the new expansion pack that will precede season 4 of the championship. I've been Gareth Allen TV. You can find me on all the social media gubbins. But thank you everyone who's tuned in, and I wish you all a very, very good night, and see you in a few weeks.